this is episode 1 of game development, and basically what I use mostly to make games is a module called Pygame. But to get that, you have to go to your command prompt and you gotta go pip install Pygame. And then since I already did that, then requirement's already satisfied. Also, you're gonna have to make sure that you do have Python to your path, and then make sure you also have pip enabled. And if you don't have that, then you can go to the Python website, reinstall Python, and then it will say modify, and then you can do those things there. So after you import Pygame, we need a window, or just win, and the way that Pygame makes it work is you're going to have a pygame.display.set_mode. So this will be the size of the window. I'm just going to keep it at 500 by 500. And then pygame.display.set_caption. This sets whatever you want the the title up here to say. So we're gonna say tutorial, I guess. Now, when you run it, a window will pop up. It says tutorial, but you notice you cannot close it because we did not set that up. So now it's just gonna be open and kind of glitchy. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a run equals true and while run, because that's the same as saying while true. But then you could disable run, so that makes it much simpler. So this right here, I just copy and pasted, that way I don't have to type it all. For event in pygame.event.get, this just basically cycles through all the events that you can get, and if it is quit, then we're gonna stop the run. That way this while loop stops, and after the while loop we can do pygame.quit. So now when we click the X, it closes the window. Now we're gonna need some variables if we're gonna have a player, which we will have, and it's just gonna be a simple square. How about that? So how about player X, player Y, width, height. Those are the only variables that we're gonna have, and then we need a function, which is def redraw game window. So this is where we're going to have to draw all our things and stuff like that. So first, we're gonna want to fill the screen with black every frame, because if we don't do that, actually I'll show you what happens if we don't do that. So basically you're gonna do pygame.draw, and we want a rectangle just for simplicity, and then it's going to be on the win, which is this, and then we need a color for it. So let's do red. How about that? And then we need all of our, also you can go to a web page to search up how to get certain colors. I just know this is red, I believe. And then you need all of the variables such as the X, Y, width, height. Now I'm not totally sure that this is the exact way to do it. Oh wait, PX is not defined. Oh yes, we need to change that. Okay. Okay, we'll figure that out in a second. I'm not sure why that's not working. But basically, after we draw it, we're gonna do pygame.display.update. So that way it updates the screen after we draw it. And then after we draw it, after that, we're gonna have to redraw game window just so we can actually call that function. So now when we hit run, I want to see. So px is not defined, and it's on line 5. So it really does not think. Oh, I'm not very smart sometimes. So we have to actually give these a variable to be called to. So we're just gonna make each of these be 50, just so it's a nice square, and then it's also on the top left. There we go. Now we have a square. So it looks fine, even though we're not filling the window with black before we draw it. And that's gonna be messed up when we do movement. And the way that Python does movement is there's a set of keys, and it just looks through all the keys over and over until it can find the one that you're pressing. So let's type that in, I can never remember what this line is, but basically it's keys equals pygame.key.get underscore pressed. So that means every time that we call keys, it's calling all the keys that are getting pressed. So if, and then we'll do keys, and we're going to do pygame.k underscore d. Actually, let's do w for now. Now, this is the way of it wondering if we're pressing down W. I don't know why we have the K there. But basically what we're going to do is we need to define a velocity. So let's do vel equals 5. So we can do... also, I gotta say this first. Pygame thinks that 0, 0, the origin is not in the center. He thinks it's in the top left. So that's why when I did 50-50, it brought it down here. So now, when I want it to go up, you actually have to subtract from the y. So I'm going to do py minus equals vel. So now I run it, you'll see it goes up, but it's drawing it over and over and over. So let me just finish this thing. Oh. So I just copy and paste them over and over. So when we're going down, we're going to add to our y. And then if we're going to go right, then we're going to add to our x value. And if we want to go left, we're going to subtract from it. So let's make sure that this works. All handy dandy, and it does, but you'll see the issue here is that it is super same. Okay, so I think it does recognize the directions, it's just too hard to actually... Okay, it does recognize all the directions, but it's going super fast. So the way we can fix that is by saying pygame.time.tick, and then we could set it to like 100. Let's see if this fixes it much. Time has no function called tick. Okay, I'm back. I had a bit of a brain fart. Basically, we need to have a clock, which is basically pygame.time.clock, and then we're gonna do clock.tick 60. That way we only call it every 60 frames. That way we have a nice and smooth FPS. So now this is what it looks like, and you'll see it's drawing that square everywhere. So the way that we fix that is by filling the screen black before we draw the window. So basically we're going to do win.fill. And actually I kind of want a white background. And make sure you do 2 parentheses, or the way you can do it not like that is say white is equal to 255, 255, 255. And then you don't have to have 2 parentheses because the parentheses are right here. So I can just do white. So now you'll see we have a square that moves along the screen and it fills it white. Now, next, how about we have, now we need to make sure that it doesn't actually go past the wall, because you'll see that when I run it again, you can go right outside the screen like that from all angles. So we want to fix that. So when we're going up, we're subtracting from our y. We only really want to do that if it's not at 0 or if it's greater than 0. So we'll do and, because we can add ands to if statements, and we could say py is greater than 0. Now when we do that, when we go up, we can't go past it, so it looks like there's a wall there. So now this will have to do something a little bit different, because we want this is going to be going down, but we're going to be adding to our y. So where this is only going to be if y is less than 500 minus its height, because remember the 0, 0 is at the top left corner. So now if we go down here, there's the logo wall. So that's the top and left down. So now when we go left, I mean right, we want to make sure that our px is still less than 500 minus our width. So it's pretty similar, as you'll see. Done. And then kind of like are going up, we want to make sure px is greater than 0. Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. I accidentally put it inside the brackets. So now you'll see that our little character here is now completely stuck inside of the square. And now it looks like it should be able to go up a little bit, but remember that's the bar. So if I fill it with black instead, actually I'm not going to do that, but that's the bar. So it looks like it's not 500, 500, and it looks like it could go higher, but that's just because that bar like this right here. So now we need to have a goal, or we can have an actual player next episode, because now you get the basic idea. So, actually, I'll figure out what we should do for next episode, but by the end, we should have a working game. Okay.